Moin moin, what's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mika Kersting. I'm a German born chef now living in Canada, and I'm here to show you how to make delicious food that everyone can make at home. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe and smash that like button. Let's get started. I get asked all the time to make one of the most popular breakfast dishes in North America, Eggs Benedict. It's not that popular in Europe, but it's definitely stable here in Canada. So, los geht's. First thing, let's make these. English muffins. Scale out 150 milliliters of milk, 120 milliliters of water. Microwave it for 10 to 15 seconds, so it's a little bit above room temperature. Add 5 grams of instant yeast, whisk it up. Next, get another bowl on the scale. Scale out 350 grams of flour, 8 grams of salt. Mix it up as well so everything's nicely incorporated. Alright, let's make the dough. Let's get the milk and yeast mixture into your mixing bowl. I'm using a stand mixer KitchenAid. Add the flour. You do it in that order, it will avoid clumping, and then add the melted butter. Just make sure it's not too hot. Alright, and let's get it going. Roughly after 10 minutes, your dough should be nice and smooth. To make sure that's happening, I'm gonna put it on the cutting board here and knead it a little bit more. Do that for maybe a minute or two, and then it should look like this, nice and smooth. Slap it. Slap it. Slap it good. Wrap up your dough with saran wrap and then let it proof for 1 hour. Alright, by this time your dough should have been doubled. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than an hour, it just depends on the temperature of your dough. Add a little bit dusting flour to the work surface, and now put your dough right on top. Some people like to literally ram their fist in the middle of the dough to degas it. I don't do that, I'm just gonna add a little bit dusting flour right on top and slowly degas it with my hands. Roll out your dough to 2 centimeters thickness, and then take a glass or a cookie cutter, whatever you have, to punch out the English muffins. Once you cut them all out, get rid of the excess dough. I got 7 pieces, and then I'm adding them to a little pan so they can proof for another hour. A little bit flour at the bottom, a little bit flour at the top. Add your foil, and then I have another pan the same size just to make sure that they kind of proof evenly and not get too high. Also roll out the leftover dough that you still have. You don't want to waste any of that. While the English muffins are proving, I'm going to get started on the reduction for the Hollandaise. For that I need 20 peppercorns lightly crushed, I need 2 bay leaves, 100 milliliter of white wine of your choice. I'm going to add 20 milliliters of pickle juice because nobody eats pickle juice, just use it up. 100 milliliter of water and 80 milliliters of apple cider vinegar. I'm also going to add 3 little pickles out of the jar. You can use any pickle, doesn't really matter. Take your onion, cut it in half, cut off the ends, and then peel them. Slice up your onions as finely as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just for a sweetening flavor in the reduction. Once your onions are chopped up, add them to your pot and reduce it for 10 minutes until you have 1/3 of the liquid left. Once that's done, you can strain it. Just make sure you press out all the juices out of the onions. And then you can refrigerate this reduction for up to 4 weeks. For now, just put it to the side so we can make the hollandaise later on. My muffins have doubled in size, so let's get them in the pan. I'm adding a little bit of butter. Get them in right away. Just make sure your pan is at low to medium temperature just so they don't get too brown. Get a lid right on top. Cook them for 4 to 5 minutes right here. Then you can flip them. Once they're flipped, cook them for another 4 minutes and then they should be done. And then repeat with the rest. Instead of using traditional Canadian back bacon, I like to use the regular bacon. I just like it better. Just make enough so you have enough for whatever you need that day. 2 people, 3 people. And there's always a piece for the chef. Alright, once they're cooled, I already like to cut them in half right now, just so I'm ready, so that I'm not gonna get in behind when I'm making the hollandaise and the poached eggs. So cut all your muffins open, however many you need. And then get some water in a pan for the hollandaise. Just make sure there's enough space in between the bowl and the water so it's not touching. Crack your eggs into a bowl and then take out the egg yolks for the hollandaise. You can obviously save the egg whites for a different application later on. To my egg yolks, I'll be adding roughly the same amount of reduction as the weight of the yolks. And also I like to add fresh lemon zest for flavor. Before we whisk up our hollandaise, we got to get the butter in a bowl. And I like to microwave it for 1 minute. You can also clarify your butter if you want to make it even more complicated. Get your whisk ready, have your water ready, and then let's go. While the 250 grams of butter are melting in the microwave, whisk your egg yolk to ribbon stage or 68 degrees Celsius. At this point, just make sure that the sides are a little bit clean. I like to put it onto a towel so you have more traction. And then slowly, just like a mayonnaise, you add your butter to the warm egg mixture. At this point, I'm not really whisking anymore, I'm just stirring it around. Also make sure you don't add your solids, that could make your hollandaise split. This is how it should look, nice and thick. At this point, I start to season it. Salt and pepper. I'm using the same water that I use for my hollandaise, actually, for poaching my eggs. So I add a little bit of neutral vinegar, swirl it around, and then I'm adding 2 eggs at a time. So if you cook for 2 people, you only have to do this twice. Eggs take 4 minutes to poach. So take them out while they're still nice and soft. And then repeat with your second round. Using the same pan that we cooked the bacon in, I'm now lightly toasting the muffins. You can fit 4 or 5 at a time. Flip them over and take them out. So I went to the farmer's market and I got beautiful green onions. Usually I use chives, but I just bought what they had. Once everything is prepared and ready to go, we'll start plating it up. Let's see how it turns out. And this is how I make my Eggs Benedict. As a maybe a little bit healthier, but definitely vegetarian option, I have some zucchini right here. Salt, pepper, a little bit smoked paprika and Italian seasoning. The smoked paprika actually gives it a little bit of bacon flavor and idea. And then I'm going to add them in my pan, nice hot olive oil. Get them in there, get them sizzling. If you don't hear this noise, you're doing something wrong, I'm telling you. And let's get that on the plate. You know what? This is pretty much just as good. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video. And if you want, you can check out my Instagram, which is in the description box down below. And don't forget to subscribe.